Thank you for the opportunity to present the paper, Exploring Policies and Initiatives in Online Work in the Philippines. This is authored by Dr. Ramonet Serafica and I, Ms. Quinn Oren. This work was carried out with the aid of a grant from the International Development Research Center, Ottawa, Canada, and is part of the IDRC project on driving inclusion through empowerment and decent work, the case of Filipino women in online work. Next slide, please. So the paper aims to analyze policies and initiatives related to online work, identifying gaps and issues, and providing recommendations on how to promote inclusive and decent online work, including for women. The domains of decent work by Hicks were used to organize policies and initiatives in online work. They consist of three overlapping domains of decent work in the digital economy. These are employment context, employment, and work conditions. Next slide, please. So, why is there a growing interest in online work? New technologies have led to new forms of work. The COVID-19 pandemic has also normalized working from home. The Philippines is actively engaged in platform work. Filipinos are competent for online jobs and are price competitive. We also have a good command in English and are more familiar with Western culture than other competitors like India. Furthermore, the country is known for providing excellent services and hospitality and has a socially connected and tech-savvy young population. In 2023, Pioneer listed the Philippines as the sixth among the largest freelancer markets and emphasized its consistent growth as an emerging market. These new work arrangements have the potential to increase women's economic participation. However, as more countries have engaged in online work, since the pandemic, competition in the market has intensified. Next slide, please. So there's no single way to fully capture the complexity of online work. However, Bayudan Dakoy and Bahe characterize labor platforms into two, based on how work is carried out. The terms crowd work, online, online outsourcing, or cloud work are used when work is organized and delivered online, while the second one is on-demand work or gig work, which pertains to work organized online, but the delivery needs interaction between workers and end users. Hence, it is location bound. Our focus in the paper is on online work where service is organized and delivered online. Next slide, please. So these are the issues surrounding online work. This includes the vagueness and ambiguity of employment status. According to Takadaw, online workers have different views about their employment status based on various factors, such as their level of dependence on clients, working hours, benefits received, or the nature of work or service provided. A new employment category, dependent contractor, has been suggested to give online workers more rights. The Filipino Online Professional Service Cooperative, an umbrella organization of freelancers, suggested three categories of online workers. These are first, online employees for those who are employed by foreign companies. Second, online service providers or online consultants, a term for those who manage different clients. And the third category is online business owners for those who have agency and subcontract other professionals to do a portion of their work. In addition to the ambiguity, online work is similar to informal work because of the unstable and irregular source of income and the lack of social protection. Furthermore, online workers are also susceptible to risk and exploitation, such as oversupply of online workers, employment insecurity, discrimination, social isolation, overwork, psychological harm, free labor, and the race to the bottom wage rates. Next slide, please. So related to these issues, the SDG or the Sustainable Development Goals, number 8, aims to promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth and employment and decent work for all. Decent work is defined as opportunities for work that is productive and delivers a fair income, security in the workplace, and social protection for families. Additionally, it means freedom for people to express their concerns, organize, and participate in the decisions that may affect their lives, and equality of treatment for all women and men. For the employment context domain, this involves issues on social protection and portability of benefits. Tabugan Caballero defined lack of insurance as not having access to both social protection, that is GSIS or SSS, and PhilHealth. In 2017, half of the women, or 6.7 million, that lack social insurance are not in the labor force, compared to only 1.2 million men. Furthermore, there are more female workers in the informal sector than men. The large portion of women that do not have adequate social insurance may be attributed to their membership in the informal sector that discourage them to contribute to their social protection programs. Barriers are more pronounced for women in rural areas because of the inaccessibility and lack of knowledge in social insurance programs. Next, yeah, okay. So this table shows the number of SSS and GSIS members in 2018, contrasting with the eligible population. We can see that the SSS only covers 46% of the eligible population in 2018, specifically covering 54% of private wage and salary workers and 29% of own account workers. In terms of categorizing online workers' participation in social protection schemes, for example, the Pag-ibig Fund specifically listed self-employed, employee, and entrepreneurs in the membership categories, while SSS has compulsory and voluntary contributions membership category. For Pag-ibig and SSS, freelancers, independent contractors, part-time workers, and platform worker in the app are not explicitly listed. However, they may fall under other flexible categories such as self-employed individuals or voluntary members. For PhilHealth, direct contributors consist of employees and self-earning or self-employed individuals, while freelancers, independent contractors, entrepreneurs, and part-time workers or worker in the app are not explicitly mentioned in the categories, but they can also fall under the direct contributions if they have the financial capacity to pay. Next slide, please. Given the nature of online work, there may be instances that platform workers may not be able to avail social benefits. For instance, availing SSS benefits follows contribution-based eligibility rules. An online worker who has not paid 3 months contribution within the last 12-month period immediately preceding the semester of sickness will not be able to avail a sickness benefit. For Pag-ibig, applicants of multipurpose and calamity loans must have at least 24 months contribution and have paid at least 1 month contribution for the past 6 months. In terms of Next slide, please. In terms of taxation, online workers have different perceptions of their employment status. Hence, depending on the nature of their work, they may be categorized by the BIR as individual and non-individual taxpayers. Individual taxpayers can be categorized as compensation earners, self-employed, or mixed income earners. So this table shows the existing and proposed legislations, policies, and initiatives covering online workers. This include the Department of Information and Communications Technology, programs such as Tech for Ed DTC, Digital Jobs PH, and the Free Wi-Fi for All program, the Decent Work Country program, and other public-private collaboration and private initiatives. Related laws such as the Philippine Digital Workforce Competitiveness Act, to strengthen public-private partnership in trainings and skills development, and internet transactions to regulate online consumers and online merchants have recently been passed. Proposed legislation under the 19th Congress are still pending. This includes the Konektadong Pinoy Act, which could address the limited online work opportunities due to the lack of internet connectivity in areas outside urban centers. The Freelancer Protection Act and Magna Carta for workers in informal economy could also give more rights to online workers. As we can see, the conditions here, apart from the lack of data specific to online workers, there is still no legislation to date explicitly addressing the working conditions of online workers. Regarding wage and salary workers, women consistently have a higher share of low-paid work than men. Women are more inclined to work less than 20 hours or more than 49 hours a week than men. Women who are not participating in economic activities because of household or family duties decreased to 92.1% in 2018 from 96.2% in 2001. However, this is still very high compared to men, with 3.8% and 7.9% in 2001 and 2018, respectively, while men are more exposed to precarious work than women. So these are the policies advancing gender equality. The Magna Carta of Women is a comprehensive law that promotes gender equality. The Philippine Commission on Women developed the Gender Equality and Women Empowerment Plan 2019 to 2025 as a reference in formulating gender-focused policies and regulations for women. Two of the proposed bills in the 19th Congress promote gender equality by addressing gender discrimination and enhancing economic opportunities, such as the right to financial services, including access to gender balance and low interest credit. In terms of increased participation and representation for women, at least 3 institutions are explicitly mandated to allocate positions for women in the decision-making process, namely the Social Security Commission, PhilHealth Board of Directors, and the Cooperative Development Authority Board of Directors. As a summary, sorry. As a summary, with the COVID-19 pandemic, the market for online workers has expanded, which presents growing opportunities for Filipinos. However, competition is on the rise, particularly from countries with better internet infrastructure than the Philippines. Online workers are heterogeneous and they may have different income streams. Their employment status is also fluid. Although they are generally viewed as independent contractors, they also consider themselves freelancers, self-employed, employees, entrepreneurs, part-time workers, or platform workers. An individual may fall under more than one category at any given time or shift from one category to another during a given period. The challenge for the government is to how to ensure that the online work adheres to decent work principles or ideals. Ensuring the decent work for platform and online workers remains an issue due to the vagueness and ambiguity of their employment status and their precarious source of income. The different types of workers and forms of online work imply that one size fits all policy may not be able to capture and address the various issues that online workers face. Next slide, please. Perhaps a bigger issue than employment classification is maintaining active membership. Online workers might find it difficult to make regular contributions or may not be motivated to do so voluntarily. Thus, current social protection schemes will have to be reviewed and updated to respond to the needs of new types of workers and work arrangements. To encourage participation in social protection programs, services may have services have been streamlined online to make them more accessible. For instance, the SSS already offers online registration and payment system. The government may consider providing universal service protection, universal social protection to ensure that essential insurance protection is available for all. The classification of workers is also an issue when it comes to taxation. Anecdotal evidence reveals confusion about their proper category. For example, there is also a problem with platform workers getting residence certificate since LGU officers require them to have storefront, which are not applicable to them. Whether to design social protection schemes suitable for online workers or mechanism to increase tax compliance, field experiments could be conducted to determine the appropriate interventions to encourage them to participate and reduce informality in online work. Regarding employment issues, government agencies led by DICT continue to implement programs for these online workers. Data on the digital economy should also be regularly collected and so that it could be used for improving these programs. Facilitating internet connection along with training on how to use it productively are also very important, especially in areas outside urban cities, so they can be a part of this economic growth. As you can see, these are the bills that promote or extend basic rights to online workers. These are the Freelancer Protection Bill and the Magna Carta for workers in the informal economy, although these are all pending in the 19th Congress. The wholesale amendment of labor code would be ambitious, and it will require tripartite effort and would be industry-based or specific. However, DOLE could implement rules, regulations, department orders, or advisories. It will also be difficult to enforce Philippine laws on platforms not based in the Philippines. To avoid the race to the bottom competition, it has been suggested that Filipino workers should be encouraged to upskill rather than compete on the basis of price. To pursue gender equality on online work, the Philippine Commission on Women must ensure that gender equality would be integrated in the new laws and regulations. So, social protection system should also include portability and flexibility features, as well as unemployment insurance to support sudden job loss and fund skills training to gain employment as advocated by Bayudan Dakoy et al. Other than national agencies should also be strengthened in terms of its communication with the LGUs to disseminate available ICT training for women. And women should also consistently be involved in tripartite councils and consultations to represent online workers, help raise gender issues, and develop more inclusive policies and regulations for addressing decent work, especially in online work. That's all. Thank you.